Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about property investment and the 5 types of property investment. Basically, on this channel, we talk about sustainability, property investment, and digital marketing. 26 November 82. So, what is I'm going to be sharing my slides with you today, if that's okay. And in today's episode, hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're calling from. My name is Leah and I'm your host for today. In today's lesson, we are going to be talking about property investment and the 5 types of property investment. So the question is, what is property investment? Property investment is the strategy of buying real estate like homes, commercial buildings, or land with the aim of generating income or profit through rental incomes and or capital appreciation. That means selling for a higher price. Investors can purchase properties directly or indirectly through real estate owners or investors, and in return, if they buy it through real estate investment fund, and they can generate returns by renting out properties to tenants, flipping properties after improvement, or holding them for long-term growth. So now we have talked about property. What is property investment? I'll quickly run you through how property investment works. So the first stage is we purchase a property. An investor buys a property using their capital or by borrowing funds from the bank or from other private lenders. Then the second stage is to generate income. So everybody can agree with me that property investment, it appreciates in value yearly. So it's an investment. You go to sleep and your investment makes the money for you. And you all can also agree with me that there's nothing as good as working for yourself rather than working for someone. So, having said that, property investment generates income. The investors rent out the property to generate a monthly income from rentals from tenants. Number three, it increases value, which I've just said a few minutes ago. Over time, the property value may increase due to market appreciation or strategy renovations, increasing the investor's equity. Number four, property investment makes profits. Yes, that's absolutely true. The investors profit from both the ongoing rental income and the eventual sale of the property for a higher price than they bought the property. When I bought my first property, I bought the property for £115,000, but over the past years, the current price for that same property is £220. So, and my property is almost mortgage free. So, if I'm selling that property, that's me getting this large amount of money. So, invariably, what I'm trying to say, property investment appreciates. So, it's an investment that is secured, and it's an investment that you don't need to worry about fluctuations in currency or inflations in market value. No, it appreciates yearly, and it's something you can really rely on. It's not like some other businesses where you aren't sure when the market falls drastically, that's your income gone. No. So I want to briefly talk about the types of property investment. So on my screen here, if you can see my screen from your side, I've got number one on my list is residential property like homes, townhouses, and so on. So these are types of properties that can be rented out to generate income for residential. We also have what we call the commercial buildings, commercial investments. So the commercial investments are basically buildings and lands used by businesses such as office buildings, rental stores, and industrial facilities. They also rent these outlets out. So garages and co falls under this category. These stores are rented out, or offices, to generate income for the owner. Then we also have another type of property investment which we call the direct investment, buying and managing properties yourself. So sometimes it can be quite tasking. You have your normal job you're doing, you still have property to manage, you have guests to deal with, you have a lot of things on your head. It's quite tiring. It involves a lot of traveling, a lot of thinking, a lot of everything. I need to prioritize as well. So the direct investment simply means buying and managing properties yourself. Then we have the indirect investment, which is number 4. The indirect investment, investing in properties fund that pool money from multiple investors to buy and manage property, or through property crowdfunding. So invariably in this stage, I'm talking about 2 or 3 people joining together to join their incomes together to buy a property, and then they rent it out. So you all know the ratio of how the dividends, how the profit is going to be shared amongst them. It's another way, good way as well. And then we want to talk about the key goals of property investment. What is the major key goal of property investment? The first is rental income, generating a steady stream of income by renting out the property. That is everybody's main goal. We also have the capital growth. So for the capital growth, we're talking about earning a profit when the property is sold at a higher value than its purchase price. By that, I simply means, say I bought my property at 115,000. That was about 10 years ago, and then today the property is valued for 220,000 pounds. And if I sell the property and then deduct my leftover mortgage, you can see I'm making over 80,000 pounds. So that is capital gain. So that is why we say capital profit, it's an essential part of property investment. It's a key goal to property investment. And we also have what we call the diversification, adding a tangible asset to an investment portfolio to spread the risk. That one is another useful tool where investors can also look into and see how they can enter the property investment market. So like I said in one of my videos, when you're thinking about property investment, you don't have to wait until you have loads and loads of income. No, you have to start somewhere. And like I said, for the residential investment, which is the types could be single family homes, apartment, vacation rentals, and so on, like Airbnb and co. Strategy, for the strategy, when you talk about the residential investment property, the types, we talk about the single family homes, apartment, or vacation rentals. When you're talking about the strategies, is it buy to let, is it fix and flip, is it Airbnb? That is what you need to consider. Then if it's pros, steady cash flow, high demand, tax benefit. Then for the risk, tenant turnover, maintenance cost. So you have to put all this into consideration. You're not just diving into property investment. You really have to understand what the property investment is all about, that you don't need large capital to start. You can actually do what some people do, rent to rent. I've said that in one of my videos. If you're doing the rent to rent, it's absolutely fine, but you need to spell it out, discuss with the landlord. This is my aim of renting your apartment, and I will be using it for this purpose. Am I permitted? If he says yes or she says yes, get an agreement, put it into writing, and make sure you obey the rules and the regulation. But like I said also, if you're doing property investment, there are local council policies and guidelines that you really have to follow. That is out with your rental. You have to make sure you have those policies and protocols in place. If it's a short-term let you need, if it's HMO you need those licensing to put in place before you can operate all this property. Then think about your strategy. Is it buy to let, flip and fix and flip? It's entirely yours, but always identify the risk before you go into any venture, not just property investment. I will advise everybody to please look at the risk. It is something that is achievable. It is something that you can venture into. The maintenance cost means a lot because the house must be habitable. The house must be we don't want, there are certain things that it must be fit for purpose. So you need to understand that every repair has to be dealt with. So put all this into consideration and see how you move on. But please, like I said before, you don't need to have loads of money before you go into property investment. You can start from the scratch. I knew where I started. That was 12 years ago. I knew where I started, and I know where I am right now. So I'm not going to sit here to keep emphasizing the fact that you don't need loads of money to start property investment business. You can start with the little you have. All you need to know is to have the best guide how to go about it. So if you go to my stand store, if you click on my Instagram or my Facebook page, you see my tree link. If you click on my tree link, you will see my stand store link and my seller store link. Click on either of those stand store link or seller store link. It will take you straight to my stand store or seller store, and I've got loads of books there. Most of them, majority of them are ebooks, and they are free downloadables. You don't need to pay for anything. Just click on the one you want. I've got user guide for beginner friendly in property investment. I will encourage you to go to my stand store and seller store. Please download one of the ebooks. There is all yours. Read it, understand it, and take it from there. And I will see you in my next video. If you are coming across to my channel for the first time, please do well like, share and subscribe, and thank you. Bye. Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about property investment and the 5 types of property investment.